For the triangle shown, find the length AD. Assume U equals 18, V equals 18, angle X equals 39 degrees, and angle Y equals 39 degrees. Round your answer to 2 decimal places. All right, so when we look at this, we need to go ahead and take the information that we're given, and we need to go ahead and put that into our diagram and also make some assumptions. We know that side V is equal to 18. We know that side U is equal to 18, which means that triangle BDC is an isosceles triangle. And if it's an isosceles triangle, that means base angles are equal. Therefore, I know that this angle X is going to be equal to this angle here. We also are given the fact that angle X is 39 degrees. We're given angle Y is 39 degrees. And then we know that this angle right here, DCB, is also 39 degrees, which means that this entire angle C is going to be equal to 78 degrees. So we can write this as angle C equals 78 degrees. We also know that angle A is going to be equal to 180 degrees minus the measure of angle C minus the measure of angle B, which will be equal to 180 degrees minus 78 degrees minus 39 degrees. And that's going to be equal to 63 degrees. Just a clarification, this diagram doesn't seem to be drawn to scale, but that's okay. So if this is 63 degrees, I now can go ahead and determine what my length AD is based upon the information that I'm given. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use the law of sines. Remembering that the law of sines is the sine of A over A is equal to the sine of B over B is equal to the sine of C over C. Now, we're only going to use 2 components of the 3. We're going to set up a proportion, and we're going to solve for the missing component of the proportion. So don't let the letter assignments confuse you. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at how everything plays together. So when we come over here and we look at angle A, the side opposite angle A is going to be our little side A from our ratio of sine A over A. So in this case, we'll go ahead and say the sine of 63 degrees over 18 will be equal to, and now what we need to do is go ahead and look at this angle here, which we know is angle Y, and that's equal to 39 degrees, and that's going to be set up in a ratio with the side opposite AD. So that means that the sine of 39 degrees over the length AD is the ratio. And now I want to solve for AD. Now remember, we're looking for absolute values here because distance has to be a positive value. So I know that the sine, or AD is going to be equal to the following, because what I'll do is I'll go ahead and multiply both sides by AD, because I want to go ahead and get AD into the numerator. In doing so, I'm left with sine AD times sine 63 degrees over 18 is equal to sine 39 degrees. In order to get AD by itself now, what I'm going to do is multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of sine 63 degrees over 18, which means that I would have this AD times sine 63 degrees over 18 times its reciprocal of 18 over the sine of 63 degrees. And that's going to be equal to the existing sine of 39 degrees times 18 over sine 63 degrees. Which means that the length AD is simply going to be equal to 18 sine 39 degrees over sine 63 degrees. And I will go ahead and enter that into my calculator, making sure that my calculator is in degree mode and not radian mode. And that's an easy mistake to make. And so we simply would do 18 times the sine of 39 degrees divided by the sine of 63 degrees. And that's going to give us a decimal. And AD will be equal to 12.7134. Now remember, the directions said rounded 2 decimal places. So that means that the length AD is going to be equal to 12.71. And so if we go back up to our diagram, this is the 12.71 units. And since I'm given a place to write that in, we'll write 12.71. And I'm going to use the word units because we're not given a definition of what the units are in, whether it's inches, centimeters, miles, or whatever. So I'm going to use the generic units just to understand that this is a linear measurement, and so therefore distance.